Hello, everyone. Welcome to this free class of giving yourself a well-deserved hug on Valentine's Day. This is my way of saying thank you for following me in my journey and movement and self-exploration and coming to my classes. So can you do this? You can. Wonderful. All right. So just hold yourself for a moment and just take a breath. And give yourself a hug, and that's it. And you can go home now. Just joking, just joking. I'm going to get you guys to just stand up for a moment and just feel how you feel standing. And then I'm going to get you to come back to your mats and lie down on your back. And just feel what you feel when you're standing, how you feel stacked over your feet, where you feel the weight over your feet. And just take a moment to notice how you feel where your head is. How are you breathing when you're standing, by the way? When you take a breath in and breath out, when you're standing, how does that feel? And then just move your shoulders up and down and back and forth, just to get a sense of how your shoulders feel today. You can roll them forward and back, or you can lift them and lower them, or you can just feel like, how easy is it for you to do this, of crossing your arms across your chest and giving yourself a hug. And then come back down to your mats and have a lie down on your back. Have something firm under your head to support your skull. And if you can, tilt your camera downward so I can follow what you're doing and give you appropriate instructions, any corrections, that would be great. All right, and just rest your head on the surface that you're resting on. Just notice what you feel when you're laying on the floor. And just take a moment to feel how your head is resting, how your shoulders are resting, and your back. And I'll give you a little extra time just to get sorted and see that you're getting yourself organized for lying down, or getting your camera organized. Thank you for doing that. We so appreciate it. For those of you that are on the floor and resting, notice your breath. As you breathe in and breathe out, do you feel any change in contact? Do you feel heavier someplace on an inhale? Perhaps there's someplace in your back, your hips, your shoulder blades that feel a little heavier when you breathe in. And then just float your arms up in the air. So you just kind of, your fingers are pointing towards the ceiling. And you're balancing a little, you're on your shoulder blades, and you're letting your hands hang, your palms sort of like, you're going to feel like you're a zombie. It's like zombie position. And just notice what that's like to stack your arms over your shoulder blades. Does that make your shoulder blades feel heavier? And it's possible it does. Is there one shoulder blade that feels lighter on the floor, or more tucked in, or a little wider? Just notice that. Bring your arms back down. And notice again what the shoulder blades, your chest, along your collarbones, your neck, how all that feels as you're resting. Resting your arms. And as your arms are resting down, just gently roll your head a little bit to the right. Come to the middle and then roll a little bit to the left. And just feel, what is that like to roll your head very slowly, softly, without making a lot of effort in your neck? Do your eyes follow your head or do your eyes stay still? And then float your arms up that zombie style again. Your arms are going to be kind of, your fingers are hanging, your arms are above you, straight up. The arms are stacked over your shoulder blades. And then begin to just gently lift your right shoulder blade off the floor and bring it down. Just gently lift the right shoulder blade off the floor and then bring it back down. Feel, what is that like? Is there a lot of effort? Is that easy? Is that hard? And then check your left shoulder blade. So you're going to almost reach a little bit in front of you with your left shoulder blade and bring it back down against the floor. Just to compare, how easy is it to lift your shoulder blade? And once again, bring your arms down. Feel how your shoulders are now resting on the floor. Feel how you feel across your shoulder blades and your neck. And your breathing. Just notice your breathing. And then begin to lift as your arms are there. Just lift your right shoulder blade a little off the floor and bring it down. And by the way, you can do this with your legs long, or you can have your knees bent at this point. So you can choose what feels best for you, bent knees or straight. You're lifting the right shoulder blade. What does your head do? Does your head do anything? Does it tip? Does it turn? Just notice if it's difficult or if it's easy. And this is with your arms beside you, resting beside you. And if you want to experiment with your arms floating out in front of you, go ahead and do that. But this is with your arms laying beside you. And then just lift your left shoulder blade, peel it a little bit off the floor and bring it back down. And as you do that, just feel, what does your chest do? How does the weight transfer through your back and into your head? Do you feel an indication to roll your head in any particular way? Just notice what's there right now. Noticing what's there right now is very useful to help you feel why things get looser as we progress. Okay, and then once again, I'm going to ask you to wrap your arms over your chest like you're giving yourself a hug. And it'll feel like one hand will feel more comfortable kind of under the armpit, and one hand will feel more comfortable on top of the shoulder. So it's sort of like like a tight hug almost. So you pick which way feels more familiar, more comfortable, more even for you. And begin to turn your chest so that your right shoulder lifts a little bit off the floor and back down again. The right shoulder lifting a little bit off the floor and back down. And then do the same thing on the other side. Lifting the left shoulder a little bit off the floor and back down. Just feel, how does that influence your chest? Now that your arms are crossed over your chest, are you feeling a little bit of movement in the ribs, in your sternum? A little bit of rolling on your back. Go back and forth. Feeling this little rolling movement across the chest. Then slide your hands back down. Rest your arms beside you again. Roll your neck a little bit right and left. Just see if that has gotten a little bit easier. You're feeling a little more looseness in the neck. Often, when our shoulders are following, the neck starts relaxing a bit more. Bend your knees and stand your feet. Bend your knees, that's it. Okay. And bring your arms in that hug position again. This time reverse it. So the hand that was at the armpit, switch it around so that your other hand is by your armpit. And from here, begin to turn again. So you're going to lift your right shoulder and come to the middle. And let's stay with that one. So we'll lift the right shoulder and come back to the middle. And begin to turn your head and eyes in the same direction as you're rolling. So you might, when you lift your right shoulder, you'll feel yourself rolling to the left. You might feel along your back a change in contact. And make sure you can do it with an easy, happy, comfortable breath. Really want this to feel comfortable and easy. Your head and eyes are going with you. And then begin to move your head and eyes opposite. So you start turning your head towards your lifting shoulder and come back. So your chin will come closer in a way because your shoulder's lifting. You're rolling towards your left, but your head is going to the right. And eyes. And then come back to the middle. Just do that a few times. Again, without strain, without tension. Breathing nice and slow, easy breaths. And then once you've done that a few times, begin to roll your head in the same direction you're going. Just see if that's gotten a little bit easier. Rolling, I know, I just feel that's so much easier. Of rolling now into my left side, my left shoulder blade getting heavier, my left side of my back getting heavier. And then come back and rest. Bring your arms down. Feel how good that is across the chest, across the belly. Notice if your breathing is feeling a little looser. It's smoother. And just take a moment to lift and lower your right shoulder again. See, is that easier now, lifting and lowering your right shoulder? And then once again, bring yourself into that hug position. Bend your knees, stand your feet. Put yourself in that comfortable, whichever position is most comfortable, and begin to roll yourself to the left. And let your head and eyes follow. This side might feel quite different. So look, now you're turning your head and rolling into the right side of your body. Your head is rolling to the right. And just do that a few times. Your eyes are rolling to the right. You can feel the weight of yourself shifting. Maybe even to your hip. You might feel your hip getting heavier on the right side. And then come back to the middle and make your head go opposite. So we're going to do that funny oppositional movement, making sure that that is perfectly comfortable for your head and eyes and your neck and your shoulders. You could make it small. It doesn't have to be a big movement. Small, you're breathing out, making it comfortable, coming back to the middle. Your head and eyes are meeting your lifting left shoulder, but you're still rolling to the right. Doing that a few times. And then once again, come back to the middle and allow your head and eyes to follow this movement of rolling to the right shoulder now, and see if you feel a little more of you agreeing with that movement. Does it get a little easier for you to shift into the right side, roll all the way down to the hip into the right side, and once again, rest. Bring your arms down, let your shoulders rest, your back, lengthen your legs if you'd like. That's an option. Notice if you feel your lungs differently behind your chest. Now we have those wonderful lungs that sit behind our sternum, and our upper lobes are just below our collarbones and into our upper back by our shoulder blades. See if you can notice your breath there a little easier. Those wonderful lungs, they expand, they fill and deflate around your heart. So we're giving our heart and our lungs some deserved love today. And thanking them for all that they do for us. Begin to do a little bit of a movement in your left shoulder just to see what is it like to lift my left shoulder now. Does it feel a little easier to lift? And when I do lift my left shoulder, what do you feel happening through the rest of you when you lift your left shoulder? Do you feel something in the chest? In fact, put your palm on your chest. So if you're lifting your left shoulder, can you feel that your chest moves a little bit to the right? You could even with your hand just gently shift your chest a little to the right as you lift your left shoulder. And maybe there's more of you wanting to go that direction, maybe. Good, and then bring your head down. Roll your head a little bit right and left. See if that feels any easier to you. that easier? And then please bend your knees. That's it. Have your feet sort of hip width apart, your knees bend, your feet in a comfortable place. And begin to take your right hand and slide it, put your flat hand somewhere around your chest, your right hand. So it's going to be right under your collarbone. If you can feel where your collarbone is, and you're going to take your flat hand and slide it across your chest to reach your left shoulder. And as you're sliding your arm across, see if you can feel how your whole body travels when you take the weight of your arm and your shoulder and your chest to the left. And then take your left arm and lay it along your side so it's stretched out, a kind of shoulder height, your left shoulder, left arm. And continue sliding your flat hand across in towards just somewhere along your left arm. Just see how far can you reach across your outstretched left arm. Does it make a difference if your head turns? Feel, what is that like to slide your hand across your chest, across the other collarbone, along your bicep, and letting your head turn, letting yourself kind of slide and turn, and just notice how the rest of you moves in order for you to turn like this. Good. And then rest again. And lift and lower that shoulder. See how that feels now. It's just a little bit easier to bring it off the floor. You feel a little more softness in the chest and the sternum. And your breath, of course. Now, see if you can make some room for yourself so that you can outstretch your right arm. You're going to put your left hand under your collarbone and slide your left hand across your chest. And at the beginning, just get to your shoulder, your right shoulder. Just see what that feels like. Can your head and your neck move as you slide your hand across? And of course, when you're on your back, when you're resting on your back and doing this, you'll feel yourself getting lighter somewhere and getting heavier somewhere, maybe on the right side of your hip, right side of your ribs, maybe. And then if you feel comfortable on your back, continue to slide your hand further and further and further towards past, maybe along your bicep, maybe along your forearm. And you'll find that there's this lovely rotation happening through your back, through your chest, all the way down to your pelvis. You might find that your legs start doing something to help you turn. What do you do with your legs? Do you want to have your knees bent, or you could have them long? You could tilt your legs if they're bent. That's it. Yes. So when your knees are bent, you could potentially roll on your side, couldn't you, doing this movement? Now, see if you can delay the tilting of your legs. So you're on your back, you're sliding your hand, your knees are bent, and at some point, you will feel a pivot in your pelvis and your knees will tilt. Now, if we tilted our knees right away, it would just be a simple roll. But if we're waiting a little bit, we'll feel this gradual unraveling and lengthening through the spine. It's a lovely movement to do. Once again, rest. Bring your arms down, lengthen your legs out. And just feel how you're breathing and how you're resting. Now, I'd asked you earlier, when you're breathing, do you feel an increase in pressure in somewhere along your back or your shoulder blades when you breathe in? Is it different now? Do you find that when you're inhaling, you're feeling a different kind of filling and expansion through your back ribs, somewhere between your shoulder blades, the place that gets very aggravated and tight through the day? Just see if those areas are feeling a little more free. Lovely. And then keep your legs long, stretched out, and take your right hand and put the left arm out to the side and begin to do this, again, this beautiful sliding movement of the right hand across the chest into your left shoulder, but with your legs straight. At some point, you will feel like your right heel pushes a little bit into the floor, into your mat, your right heel. So as you're sliding your right hand to the left, you'll feel a turn through your back, your right hip might lift, and then you push through the right heel, the right ankle, and it'll make you roll and pivot. Your left leg might bend a bit. Your left leg might kind of get a little bendy in the knee. So just feel, can you roll yourself over to the left, lengthening the right heel? Beautifully done. Lengthening the right heel and rolling into the left bending leg. That's right. That's right. Very nice. And for those of you who I cannot see and you're maybe not sure about my directions, I'm just going to do a little demonstration because the people that I can see are, I know they're okay. They're doing all right. But the people I can't see, I'm just going to demonstrate the movement just to make sure you're not hurting yourself or doing anything too strenuous. So we're starting out with the right hand sliding over the chest. And I'm following with my eyes and my head. And my right hip is lifting. I'm pushing into my right heel. And I'm rolling a little bit onto my side. And then coming back. And then following. I'm following and dropping into my left side. And, this leg, some people might find that they have to bring their leg out a little further. That's fine. And the head is kind of rolling on the floor. All right. And hopefully that is clear for those who I can't see. And if you can go ahead and do that movement on the other side now. So with the left hand, The left hand going across the chest, the eyes and head rolling. And you feel the leg lengthening, the straight leg lengthening, and the other knee bending. Oh, good. I'm glad that helped. Can you feel that spiral through the back? And that the upper back just really opens up between the shoulder blades. And you're caressing the arm all the way to the fingers, if you can reach it, if you're rolling that far. Reaching across. Beautiful. Such a nice way to roll. Especially when the shoulders and the shoulder blades start getting free, right? It's so nice to feel that freedom in through the chest and the back. Begin to alternate. So begin to slide over to the right side and then switching and sliding over to the left side. So you're going to pivoting through the pelvis and lengthening. One of the knees bends up along the side as you roll to your side. You could use this strategy to roll to come up to sit, or roll to come out of your bed, or however you want to use this strategy for movement and opening up your back. Going back and forth and just noticing how your neck and your shoulders and your head feel as you do this movement. Beautiful. And then rest and feel your breath. Where do you feel your lungs now? And sensing the weight of yourself on the floor or the bed or the cushion that you're on. Just notice the weight of yourself against that surface. If there's a change in how you feel across your back. And then check to see how comfortable is it for you to do that hug. Go ahead and put your arms in that hug position. Just feel if it's a little bit easier to give yourself a nice tight hug across the chest. And when you're there, just notice your breath. See if you can feel your breath across your back, your upper back, your lungs between your shoulder blades. And then begin to roll and reach in this position. So you're going to be rolling, let's say rolling to the left and reaching with the right arm across the floor. And then rolling to the right and reaching your right arm across the floor. Same strategy with turning the pelvis, rolling through the legs and bending up the leg that you're turning towards. That's lovely. And you're just keeping the arms crossed across your chest. And just sliding your hand across the floor. And if you can't do it, if it's uncomfortable for your back to do with the long legs, then you can go ahead and do it with bent knees. Just keeping your legs from falling, but letting your pelvis pivot. Okay. And Sliding again across the floor and back. And for a few, kind of roll the opposite direction as you're sliding. Let your head hang like a bowling ball. And just let the head hang. And then after you've done that a few times, allow your head to roll in the same direction. Reaching across your chest. That's lovely. Back and forth. Very nice. Beautifully done. And then come back to rest. And feel how your chest is and your shoulders. And then bring your arms up in that zombie position that we've done before, just to check. Is that different now? Is it easier to lift and lower the shoulder blades? Do you feel more of yourself turning? You feel a softer chest, softer ribs. And then go ahead, bend your knees and stand your feet and roll yourself to one side and slowly get up to sit. And then just feel how you got up, what it felt like, and then slowly come up to stand, just to feel what it's like now to be in gravity. Take your time. Take your time. If your tendency to get dizzy when you change positions, do take your time. And just feel how you are standing, turn, kind of look around. Just notice your neck and your shoulders if it feels a little freer. And then your shoulder blades. Just notice how your shoulder blades are moving underneath you. Notice your breath. You feel your lungs high up there under your collarbones or into your back or into your chest. And then see what it's like to stand and give yourself that hug. Does it feel a little easier to bring those shoulder blades forward and your arms wrapped around you? Does that feel a little easier? And then let your arms drop and see how do you feel stacked? How's your head stacked over your heels? How do you feel you are moving now? And if you were to say, have one word to describe how you're feeling right now, what would that be? What would that one word be? And I think how lovely is it that we can give ourselves the time to take care of ourselves. Much lighter, Sarah. That's great. That's great. Much lighter. Untangled. Ooh. Oh, it's nice to be untangled. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Floaty. Ooh, floaty shoulders. How often do we get a chance to have floaty shoulders? Oh, I'm glad you loved the class. And Oh, tall and straight spine. Nice. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes when the shoulders start tipping forward and our head starts tipping forward, we can feel really, then our shoulder blades feel like they have to work to keep our head up. Now you can just keep your head up and not have to work at it. How nice is that? I think that one of the reasons I did this class was because Valentine's Day can be a little bit of a difficult day for some people. And I think it's nice to give ourselves the opportunity to take care of ourselves and to be kind to ourselves and to give ourselves a little bit of love. Because I don't know about you, but I often do a lot of, we often do a little bit of trash talking to ourselves during the day. And sometimes that can get a little out of hand, where we're criticizing ourselves way too much. Folks, we have so little time on this earth. Let's take care of ourselves and encourage ourselves and give ourselves the love we deserve. Thank you so much for coming to the class. Have a lovely Valentine's Day, however you'd like to celebrate it.